Shalom, family. Hope y'all are doing well. Happy Friday to you guys. Um, let's see. I don't really know how to start this study. It's probably going to take like 2 or 3 videos to do, but I'm going to speak on Mystery Babylon and Ancient Babylon, the difference. Who do I think Mystery Babylon is, and the many reasons why I think this certain nation is Mystery Babylon. The other day I was reading my family a part out of Jeremiah, and I had this really weird thing happen. I was kind of going over the study with them and telling them certain things about Mystery Babylon and the similarities it had to ancient Babylon and the similarities it has to a certain nation that I think is, you know, us, the United States of America. So as I'm going over this stuff with my family, I've been talking with them about it, my stomach starts hurting really bad. And I've always had kind of like a nervous stomach. I have cramps and stomach issues anyways, and I have for years. So, but this was different. This was like really, really sharp pains, and it kind of came out of nowhere. So, I kind of stopped reading, and then I got this thought, well, remember Jeremiah's bowels. I was like, man, I don't remember anything about Jeremiah's bowels or anything like that. So I knew right then I needed to look that up to see if Jeremiah ever had any issues with his stomach. And maybe I knew this and I just forgot about it. I'm not sure, but Jeremiah 4:19, family. My bowels, my bowels. And back in that time, family, when they said their bowels, it was almost like, oh, my heart, my heart. Like something we would say our heart or oh, my heart these days, but back in that time, they would refer to their bowels as something that grieved them. So, okay, Jeremiah 4:19. My bowels, I am pained at my very heart. My heart maketh a noise in me, and I cannot hold my peace, because thou hast heard, O my soul, the sound of the trumpet, the alarm of war. And I got, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it brought the astonishment upon me, I was like, wow, because he's referred me to Jeremiah so many times the past couple years that's why I'm so certain that it will happen. It's just a matter of time, more or less. Whether it happens in the next few months, tomorrow, 10 years from now, whatever. America will not always be the top dog. America will eventually fall, and there will be another nation that's going to rise above America. Military strength-wise, political power, everything. But I always used to, I've studied the scriptures, and I often wondered, probably as others have, where in the Bible the United States of America was found, or is she found in the pages of prophecy? Where is the most powerful nation ever to be formed on this planet and controls most of the economies of the world through, the reserve currency being the dollar, and also the most powerful military in the world? Where in the Bible are we? And I believe the answer, family, lies with the four major prophets, both in the Old and the New Testaments. And that's going to be Daniel, Isaiah, Jeremiah. And that's in the Old Testament, but the Apostle John will be in the New Testament. There's clues scattered throughout the Bible. It's almost like a big jigsaw puzzle, family. That's the way I look at it. It says, let's see here, Proverbs 25:2. It's basically talking about, keeping secrets. It is the glory to God to conceal a matter, but the glory of the king is to search out the matter. Countless individuals throughout history have expressed frustration and bewilderment at the part of our Creator to conceal things or to keep secrets. But does he really, family? Because when you really start to study the scriptures and you start to see what his plans are, and then you actually start seeing these things coming to pass slowly but surely, it's like, wow. And he led me to the book of Jeremiah. So, when I prayed this a couple years ago, what was going to come to the nation, that, the way we do things in this nation, and all the sin that we're proud of, the pride, the abominations, the idolatry, all the everything, what's going to become of us, because we're a nation that everyone in the world looks at. So basically we should be a good example, and that's not what we're doing. And God has seen all that, and all the sins and everything has went up to heaven to him. And I believe at some point, his hand of protection is gone. You can't expect the creator of this universe, if you know God, if you know his love and his grace, and you also know his wrath, then you will know that he will be justified in doing what's going to happen to this land. I just pray we have more time. That's all. Because I already see these things coming to pass. I mean, I truly do. Whether that happens years from now, I'm never going to put a time on it, family. And, I could be wrong about us being Mystery Babylon, but I still think something major is going to happen to this nation, to where we're still not going to be on top like we've been for many, 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 many years. But in Jeremiah 50, I'll read a few verses to you, family. A sound of battle is in the land, and of a great destruction. Jeremiah 50:23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Jeremiah 50:24. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou hast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. When you come to think about, no other nation in the world is like the policeman of the world, as the USA is. Many people call us the colonists, aggressors, fighting endless wars. I could go on and on about that. But if you'll notice, Mystery Babylon, it starts in Revelation 17. The waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are the peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Okay, family, what other nation do you know that's like a melting pot, with every nationality upon the earth, with diverse languages other than English? So that sounds like us. That's one little clue. The greed of a nation and the idolatry. That's in Revelation 18:3. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her. There is no nation on the earth that, has had more economic might than America has had, especially after World War II, when the dollar became the standard currency of trade, family. Why is this so? Because we had each green black cover in hard currency, gold, but no more. Since the Nixon administration, when the gold standard was abolished, we have been printing money out of thin air, and the nations have been deceived with the charade and have grown rich, basically, because of the wealth and the trading with America. And the Federal Reserve Board has, most assuredly stole from every nation, even as she has mounted up debt to the tune of $18 trillion, and the growing through welfare, entitlements to the lazy. I mean, I could go on and on. We have robbed Peter to pay Paul, and the shenanigans is just wild. And I believe it's going to catch up to America sooner or later. Excuse me, family. Now let me touch on what America is most famous for as well, that brings a lot of attention towards us, and that's pornography. There is a symbol in our, nation that a lot of people would probably beg to differ with, family, and that's the Statue of Liberty. What if I told you the symbol of idolatry and the mother of harlots, means searching for freedom? I was when I studied what was behind the symbolism, because there's so much symbolism, family. If you just search the Statue of Liberty, Mother of Harlots, you will find something kind of like this. You probably didn't realize it, but America is steeped in idols. And yes, the Statue of Liberty is actually a replica of the Babylonian goddess Ishtar, the mother of harlots, and the goddess of freedom and liberty. This quote-unquote artwork was created by a Freemason who wanted to honor a Masonic doctrine that dates back before Nimrod. The Statue of Liberty is another brotherhood symbol highlighting the lighted torch. The Statue of Liberty is actually the Statue of Liberties. The liberties perpetuate on the American people by the Brotherhood. There she stands on her island in New York Harbor, holding her torch of freedom. Americans believe she is the symbol of liberty in a land of the free. Nothing can be further from the truth, family. The Statue of Liberty was given to New York by the French Freemasons, and her mirror image stands on an island in the river in Paris. These statues of liberties are representations of Ishtar with the rays of the sun around her head. The ancient symbolisms of the sun is in this way, and they are not holding the torch of liberty, but the torch of the illuminated ones. Basically the elite. The Statue of Liberty is a brotherhood symbol which says we control this country and we are telling you so, but basically you're too blind to see it. And eerily, to top that off, the city that's just outside of the New York Harbor is called the New Babylon. We have a symbol in the heart and the economic center of our culture that depicts the debauchery and how we begin to slip into depravity soon after the statue was erected. But it is even more of a symbol of our sexual sins, family, that are displayed to the world and shapes the mind of the world through the display of lust of the flesh through the wholesale of unending pornography. So yeah, America produces about 65% of all adult entertainment, movies, books, and magazines that have flooded the entire world. The industry is basically a multi-million-dollar, business. And Hollywood, of course, is involved with it. And you've got people having sex with animals. It's homosexual. It's just all kinds of abominations. God being blasphemed. All the things that we really shouldn't look at with our eyes or any of that. A lot of this stuff back before I came around and started realizing that I've been living wrong for many, many years. I was okay with a lot of horror movies, gore, I've never really been into porn. I tried it back in, tried watching it back in the day. It was not my thing. But at the same time, even back then, I didn't bank people that watched it. But it just wasn't for me. But as far as like gore and violence and hardcore music and, all that stuff, I loved it. But, that's the whole reason Jesus warned the days of Noah or Sodom and Gomorrah when God destroyed one by water and the other would be by fire and brimstone. So, it just, the scriptures describe America to me in the last days. And like I said, I've got a few other things. I've got a whole list I'm making right now of the different scriptures that you can cross-reference Mystery Babylon in the book of Isaiah, the different prophets that I mentioned earlier, family. I'm going to try to do a second video on that and just name the different things that you can look up for yourself. Because don't take my word for it. Take it to God, pray about it, ask for confirmation, and see if he will give you the same thing he did for me. But Jared, I'm going to leave you with this, family. And then, like I said, I've got to come up with a few other things on my list. And this is a long list of things to help you look up stuff in the Bible to cross-reference and study what I've been speaking on when it comes to Mystery Babylon and Ancient Babylon. And like I said, Jeremiah, yes, was in Ancient Babylon. But the Babylonians in ancient time were a lot like the modern day mystery Babylon of America. If you read these prophets and what they spoke about and how this nation was, you'll understand. But you've got to pray for discernment, and you've got to ask God to reveal to you what he revealed to the prophets. Just be careful what you ask for. Sometimes he reveals a little too much and it can be overwhelming. Jeremiah 51:53. Though Babylon should mount up to heaven, and though she should fortify her height of her strength, yet from me shall spoilers come unto her, saith the Lord. Here's where I believe Jeremiah is basically saying the modern day Babylon would reach the heavens and her strength would be, going to space, planes, jets, air travel. And to fortify our strengths in the heavens, we would have laser-guided weapons floating about in space, above the atmosphere. How would Jeremiah know that we would mount up into the heavens as airplanes had it not been invented yet? And I mean, he didn't know anything about it. And it was only could be explained in his time. I mean, it was explained in his time, but they couldn't imagine something like that back in that time, like the technology and stuff. America has been the leader of air travel and space travel and all that in the past, and plans on drawing board for more expedition, going to Mars and beyond. They want to go on more tours or expeditions. Like, I don't know. I just think there's many things, but that's just a couple examples. But Jeremiah 51:13, O thouest that dwell upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thou end is come, and thou measure of thou covetest. What other nation has been blessed with so many natural resources like this nation? Just think about these things. That's just a couple things to think about. Jeremiah 51:12, family. Set up the standard of the walls of Babylon, and make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes. For the Lord hath both devised and done that which he hath spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. And if you think about the pride and the arrogance of this nation, Revelation 18:7, how much shall she glorify herself and live deliciously? So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Revelation 18:8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. In the times past, the harlot of Revelation has been identified as the Roman Catholic Church. And, yes, I can agree. There's a lot of things wrong with the Roman Catholic Church, that's for sure. But I don't think it's the Vatican that's Mystery Babylon. I don't think that church may have something to do with the false prophet and the false, religion and stuff, yes. But as far as being Mystery Babylon that's described by these prophets, no, I don't think so. I don't think it's either of those. You can also read Isaiah 47:10, family, and Isaiah 46:9. Remember the former things of old, for I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none else like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. I hope y'all have a great weekend. I'll get to the other part 2 as soon as I can. Like I said, I've got to keep working on this list, and it's basically just giving you a little bit more insight and some scriptures and things that you can look up, and you can kind of take it how you want to take it, I remember the Lord saying, the number 13 would be significant in my life, and I got curious on what that meant in Hebrew. So I looked up the number 13, and in Hebrew it means destruction, a perishing. So, I always say prepare your hearts and pray, and always, always look towards the sky, and always keep your trust in God over man. Don't be so quick to judge people. I understand that, but you need to be careful of people nowadays. Discern the spirits, family, because everything is not what it seems. And people are being deceived left and right. The media's got people, I mean, if you just think about everything, even, people will say that Putin's the Antichrist. The Antichrist would be loved and accepted. He's not going to be hated. Putin is hated. So you got to know the word of God. Now, Russia will play a big role in end times, yes, but there's going to be other nations. But there's just one particular nation that has to get out of the way before the New World Order, before that Antichrist can come into effect. And I mean, maybe the Antichrist would come out of this nation. Who knows? I don't know. That's possible. But as far as Mystery Babylon goes, I definitely believe that's us. And I've got more, stuff I would like to read to you guys and go over with you guys to try to prove my point. But, either you can take it up with God and pray about it and look into it yourself, or, that's your choice. But that is my perspective on it. A lot of people have a lot of pride in this military and have a lot of pride in the nation, period. And pride alone, God hates. I mean,